There's something almost weirdly powerful about tiny wars and giant places, Like a plastic soldier standing on a kitchen counter suddenly feels heroic. A toy tank rolling across a carpet feeling like a real battlefield. Maybe a flashlight on a bed that becomes a glowing war zone at night. See, that idea has always been fun in video games, but lately it feels like these developers are finally starting to understand how much potential there really is in that specific style of game world. And that's exactly why people are paying attention to this backyard toy war game right now. See, this game is reportedly deep into development as of this month. And the more information that starts appearing online, the more it sounds like one of those surprise games that could explode once people actually get their hands on it. Because underneath the colorful, just toy-like look of it, there seems to be a much bigger idea happening here. And you see, this isn't just a goofy shooting game with mini soldiers running around. It looks like a full-scale multiplayer sandbox is built around imagination, creativity, destruction, and the chaotic toy warfare happening across oversized everyday environments. And we think that already sounds very fun in today. One of the biggest reasons this game has started getting attention online lately is because of how nostalgic just the entire concept feels. Anyone who grew up playing with action figures, plastic army men, toy cars, or building forts just out of random furniture, instantly understands the fantasy this game's chasing. Floors become battlefields, backyards become war zones, household objects suddenly turn into giant obstacles in military cover. See, that childhood imagination is the entire identity of this particular project. And from everything being discussed so far, the developers seem fully committed to making the world itself feel alive from a toy's perspective. That's important, because games like this only work when the scale feels believable. Players need to feel tiny. Grass shouldn't look decorative, it should feel like a jungle. A barking dog in a distance should feel like a terrifying boss fight, because from a toy soldier's perspective it basically is. That kind of environmental design can completely change how a game feels. And according to early development reports and community discussions right now, Backyard Toy War seems to be heavily focused on that exact idea. Large household maps, the backyard combat zones, garages, bedrooms, kitchens, and garden environments just all reportedly play major roles in this game's structure. Every location becomes its own kind of battlefield with different hazards, traversal paths, and of course, the tactical opportunities you get. And well, right now that's where the concept becomes really interesting. Because unlike traditional military shooting games, this world is naturally allowing for a lot of creativity. Players aren't fighting through realistic war zones per se, they're fighting through these toy-sized versions of just ordinary life. A spilled drink, for example, becomes a dangerous environmental obstacle. A lawn sprinkler can't completely change the flow of combat. Even moving across the dinner table could feel risky if, objects start falling or sliding during a match. The environment itself becomes part of the gameplay, and honestly, that's the smartest direction the developers could take. One thing that keeps appearing in discussions around this game is just how much people miss fun multiplayer experiences that don't take themselves too seriously anymore. A lot of modern shooters become extremely competitive, extremely realistic, or overloaded with just systems and progression mechanics. Backyard Toy War feels like it wants to bring back something simpler. That's right, chaotic fun. That doesn't mean the game looks shallow, though in fact some early information suggests the developers are building surprisingly deep mechanics underneath the toy-style presentation. Vehicle combat, base building elements, class systems, destructible environments, and large-scale multiplayer battles are all purportedly part of the experience in some form. And if it's true, this could become much bigger than people expect, because the toy warfare concept naturally creates room for endless creativity. Imagine defending a cardboard fort while enemy toy helicopters just fly over your head. Imagine using batteries, pencils, books, soda cans as cover during fights. Imagine nighttime maps where only small lamps or moonlight through the windows illuminate the battlefield. That's a kind of atmosphere and vibe people seem excited about, not realism, personality. And honestly, personality is becoming more valuable these days than ever in multiplayer games. Players remember games that feel unique, games with strong visual identity, games where maps themselves become memorable because the environments are so creative. That's why so many people online immediately started comparing Backyard Toy War here. Classics like Army Man, Toy Soldiers, Small Soldiers, and even parts of the game Grounded. Those games understood something important. Scale changes everything. When you are tiny, ordinary places suddenly become magical. A garage becomes an industrial war zone. A backyard becomes an open world battlefield. I don't know, a child's bedroom becomes a dangerous city just full of towering structures and hidden pathways. That feeling never really gets old. And visually, the game also seems to be leaning into a bright but detailed art style instead of just trying to look ultra realistic. And that's probably the right move, we think. Toy-based games work best when they embrace stylized visuals rather than chasing realism. Plastic textures, I don't know, colorful environments, dynamic lighting just bouncing across toy surfaces. All of that helps sell the fantasy better. And modern technology can make those worlds look incredible now. And especially with newer lightings and physics engines. Imagine sunlight hitting piles of just toys realistically during a backyard battle. That kind of visual storytelling can make even simple environments feel really exciting. You see, another reason this game is getting attention is because some reports, such as development ones, heavy community involvement after launch. Map tools, custom battle setups, seasonal toy themes, and user-created mods that have all reportedly been discussed internally. If true, that could be huge, because games like this survive through creativity. Players love inventing their own stories inside the sandbox-style worlds. And a toy war setting naturally encourages imagination more than most shooters ever really could. That's just part of the charm. One match might feel like a full military operation across a giant, huge backyard. Another one might just turn into a complete chaos inside a kitchen during breakfast, while giant humans unknowingly move around in the background. That unpredictability is very fun. And honestly, the concept has massive potential for both casual players and competitive ones as well. The strongest thing Backyard Toy War has going for it right now is that it already feels different. In a market crowded with military shooters, extraction games, battle royals, this game instantly stands out just because of its premise alone. Sometimes people just want a game that feels fun the second they look at it. And honestly, there's something genuinely cool about the idea of developers treating toy warfare here with real scale and detail instead of making it feel cheap and childish. If the development continues progressing smoothly, this thing could end up becoming one of those surprise multiplayer hits that nobody expected. Right now, the game still remains surrounded by mystery in many ways. If the developers truly nail that minimal feel, the nostalgia, the vibe, this thing might end up becoming far more than just another multiplayer shooting game. It could actually become one of those games that reminds players why imagination mattered so much in the first place.